All right, everybody, welcome to LockPod Season 12, Episode 21. July 9th, 2024, coming to you live from the NECA IBW Power in Indiana County Studios. This is Midwest's Most Dangerous Podcast.
Good morning.
Hey.
And it's nice to be back with you.
It's like a snappy little opening.
Yeah, you're on it.
I am on it.
It's remember like when we first started like Season 1, like, or maybe it was Season 2, whenever Lindsay had that like little thing and watch us on Spotify. It's like you've got it down. It's like she had it memorized.
Joe, you need to do that. You need to turn on your mic, first off.
That's a Vesmar issue.
That's a Vesmar issue. I think the studio is probably
a little jacked up.
Hi, Joe.
I didn't mute that channel, by the way.
You what?
That was not me.
I know, because we were running the studio yesterday.
No, I did, but I thought I mentioned it to you this morning. But maybe I
didn't hear you.
Hey, Joe.
Good.
Hey.
What was I going to say again? You had to do...
like a little snappy intro.
Yeah, snappy intro like Lindsay used to do. In the middle of the show, you're like, hey, listen to us on Spotify and Grindr and Stitcher and all that shit.
It's not in the script, so I'm not.
Oh, yeah?
Listen to us on the gay dating app, Grindr.
We are on
Christian
Grindr.
Mingle.
Yeah. Christian Mingle.
eHarmony.
The farmers one?
Is eHarmony
What is the farmers one?
Hinge?
No.
What is Hinge?
I don't know. Something
Why
else
is
I've
everybody
heard of.
laughing?
I don't know. Is it a bad one?
I think it's like a hookup app.
Oh.
Aren't they all hookup apps?
Bumble?
Yeah,
I think
at the
they're
end
all
of the day,
hookup
aren't
apps.
they all?
Yeah. Isn't like even like Facebook's like a hookup app, isn't
Whoa.
Really?
I think
Dude,
we're
I
using
think Facebook was a
differently.
sewer.
For former classmates and stuff.
it? Well, I guess so.
So I've heard.
Really? I never heard that.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Can I ask a quick question, Jill?
Nope.
Oh, God. What?
Why is there a scent in this studio now?
It smells like ass.
No, it smells like
Wow.
chemicals.
It smells
acid
like fresh
chemicals.
bamboo because
Fresh
you guys
bamboo.
It what?
you guys smell very musty. It's like a middle school hallway in here.
Yeah, it smells
I
like
take
jock
offense
straps.
to that.
And I put a wallflower in. You and I were just talking about it.
I'm saying I'm not a part of that.
Oh.
The jock strap smell?
Yeah.
I'll
Or the
take-
fresh bamboo. I don't
I
think
am
it
an
smells
athlete.
like fresh bamboo,
I'll
by
take
the
the
way.
athlete.
Have you ever smelled fresh bamboo?
Kevin's an
Kevin,
athlete,
you
too.
don't know that.
I don't know what fresh bamboo smells like,
So
but I
it
don't
smells
think it smells
exactly
like
like
that.
this.
This is what it smells like in Vietnam in a hut.
This is
I don't think
not
so.
what natural bamboo smells like.
You're surrounded by bamboo.
They just tell you it's fresh bamboo, and they may here smell this chemical.
Yeah, when you talk to people that,
That's what the war smelled like, right?
That's right. When they
Or
went through
the-
Vietnam,
the-
they
the
walk into our
skirmish.
studio.
It's the smell of
conflict,
napalm in the
not
morning.
war.
They get. Yeah, my bad. The conflict, the Vietnam conflict.
conflict.
They get
Agent
flashbacks when they
Orange.
come into our studio.
Yikes! All right, I
Yeah,
hope
like John
not.
McCain. We couldn't have John McCain on the show for that very reason.
Couldn't have
That's
John
why-
McCain for many reasons.
This is true. He is dead.
We could get a hologram. We're good.
Hologram of John McCain.
That'd be great.
That would be great.
Yeah,
I
I
love
don't
John
know.
McCain. He's my Republican crush.
Yeah.
One of them. I have a couple.
I'm with you on that. I'm a fan of John McCain.
Any guy that's like giving an FU to the president of his own party is a badass in my book. He's just like, I'm the maverick. Fuck you, Donald Trump.
on an important issue that affected a lot of Americans,
That's
namely
probably why
health
John
care.
hates him. Right, John?
I'm just still caught up on the scent thing.
Bamboo.
So John's
It's
big inhaling
heavenly.
sound and sigh. It wasn't a sigh. It was like, wait a minute, let me smell this again. This isn't fresh bamboo.
No, I will say, like, anytime Amy lights a candle in the house, I blow it out.
Really?
I don't do, like,
I love candles.
scented. I don't do cologne, any of that stuff.
I'm
Marissa and
not
I-
a cologne guy.
At nighttime in the winter,
You put cologne on?
no. I turn off all the lights at nighttime. There's honestly in our house, it's candles and the TV.
Oh, that's
all
a
there is.
vibe.
That's a way to
That's
save.
a winter vibe.
You like that?
Absolutely.
I do that in the winter. There's no
Absolutely.
light in the house at all. It's just like walking around
After
in the
what
dark.
time? 4:30?
When it gets dark. No, like usually after dinner.
It's like 4:30.
Usually like after dinner.
So dinner, lights on, and then
Yeah.
candles and
When we clean up in the kitchen and we're done, we just start I start turning lights off, and then like the TV lights on. And our house is like on the main floor. The TV room sort of illuminates a lot of floors because we'd knock down walls. So like the TV will keep the house fairly well lit, and then the candles will keep it fairly well lit. And
who's responsible for blowing out the
That's me.
candles? Okay.
That's me.
It's
I'm
also
safety.
a big fuck you to NIPSCO, too.
Fuck yeah. Right?
Screw you guys.
Your
I-
former
Sorry, Rick.
employer.
Sorry, Rick. Rick gets bonus based off of how often we turn on the lights.
Could you imagine?
It's literally tied to my house. Rick gets a bonus every time I turn off my lights. Rick loses money.
So I know I say this knowing we live in Northwest Indiana, but I have read those candles like are just full of carcinogens.
Really?
And
We'll
you're,
find
you're
out.
lighting them in a closed room, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're just breathing this stuff
You know
in.
where I live, right?
That's why I said I say this knowing we live
This
in
is
Northwest
true.
Indiana.
But maybe
Well,
it's-
Jill lives in freaking ground zero of that.
Yeah.
That's true.
Maybe your
fine.
body's used to it. It just filters this.
Absolutely. I'm never going to die. Ever.
Don't
That's
say
good.
that.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you almost killed someone yesterday, so let's just.
But I'm fine.
Is that
What
true?
happened?
I heard about
What
this.
happened? Because she came in. We did Hogsett's interview, already. We're going to play it in the third segment today. So Mayor Joe Hogsett's on in the third segment. Jill comes into the studio. Before that, we did the interview yesterday, and she was white as a ghost when she got there.
And I'm very white to begin with.
She was white as a ghost. She came in and hugged Kevin.
Yeah, which was very nice.
And Kevin cringed. And
no, I enjoyed it.
No, but like I've never seen Jill shaken up like that. What happened?
Yeah, well, I was, I caught a train, obviously, on the way here.
So you're in a hurry.
Per usual.
Right.
So
every episode you're on, you're like, I get a train.
The over-under is 1. So the question is, are you going to catch 2
every fucking episode, Jill, she's like, I caught a train on the way here.
It doesn't matter what time. So I had to go to EC because, they have that nice bridge that goes over the train track. So
railroad.
I was the second car in line with the green light to go, onto that street. And I turned, and out of the corner of my eye, some asshole on a scooter.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Scooter. I thought he was coming into the road, so I swerved, and I thought I hit him, but I think there's a pothole there. Because when I looked in my rearview mirror, he was completely upright, standing on the corner, holding the scooter, talking on the phone. So it was terrifying.
Oh, so you hit a pothole and you thought you might have hit
a
him.
body? Yeah.
Like it was the same time?
I mean, he was
like
upright.
How sure are you?
I don't know, but he was upright.
If there's someone injured in East Chicago today on a scooter.
He was limping, but he's fine.
No.
I made
Please
sure.
contact left of center.
Yeah. Contact my attorney or any attorney listed in the ads.
Jill, we've never erased an episode, but we'll erase this one for you. She admitted her guilt on Lockpod season 12.
Clip it.
Kuklakis Law, Cantrell and Cantrell. You got your
They're
choice.
like, shut up, Jill.
Put
Stop
Jill
talking
back
now.
on mute. All right.
Yeah, it sucks.
No, he was upright. I checked.
Good.
Was he being an asshole? He just like jumped out into traffic.
I
kind
just
of thing?
think he was. I think he was coming down that hill too fast, and like he just wasn't like kind of paying attention really.
Scary.
Or maybe he was just being a dick and planned on stopping on the corner the entire time and just scare the shit out of me.
Wow.
Did you really hug Kevin?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was stressed out.
She was very. You'll hear her in Hogsett's interview. She was affected. So if you hear Jill, she's not on her game. Keep in mind, she almost killed somebody right before that interview. So,
but I still brought it.
You still brought it. She still brought it. She challenged Mayor Joe. No,
I also did Vesmar's job.
Mayor Joe was talking.
Thank you.
Like a lot of indie stuff. Talking Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, listen for the
Taylor Swift.
Yes,
talking freaking WWE. Lindsay wanted me to specifically ask a question about WWE. He was talking about WWE, like a lot of stuff going on in Indy right now.
Yeah, so stay tuned for the Joe Hogsett interview. Mayor Joe was in. It was great to have him, and it's great to see him. And we talk about national politics with him too.
Did you notice that he did not offer us Taylor Swift tickets?
Yeah, I did notice that.
You mean
was,
us? He offered me.
Yeah,
me
he's not
and-
offering you.
Yeah.
No.
I'm not
I
supposed to
didn't
talk.
expect it.
I'm not supposed to talk about that. But
What?
let's just say I got invited to the Taylor Swift concert.
Whoa.
I did.
Well, mayor to mayor.
Mayor to mayor. Mm-hmm. He was like, because I wasn't begging, by the way. I want to make that clear.
You were not.
I do not beg because like I figure I'll just get my own ticket somehow. And I was sitting there and we were just talking about what we were going to talk about on the air. And I was like, dude, I can't believe Taylor Swift. I was telling him what I say on the air. Like the cheapest ticket for Taylor Swift is $4,000. And I was like, Joe, can you believe this? And he's like, why? Are you a Swiftie? I'm like, I freaking love Taylor Swift. And he's like, well, you should talk to people that could take you. And I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about that. He's like, well, you should talk to people that could take you. I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking about that. And then I was like, I don't want Joe to think I was begging for him. But I sort of was, I guess.
Well, we'll find out.
Were you begging for 1 or 2 tickets?
I'm not being
Feels
greedy.
Jill,
like
you're
one.
not.
Like,
Jill's
you're
not
there.
your date again.
Does this count as our date? It's like
Me
you're
not
going
there?
to the
Yes,
seats
the
and I'm
same.
going to the skybox. You got tickets.
I do. Can I get Lockpod reimbursed if we talk about this?
I think we
Yes.
can.
Yes.
I think we can.
Yes.
I think we
Depends.
can. Depends on how much money we have in the
We
bank.
have to vote on it.
And how much your ticket costs. Like $4,000? No. 415?
Maybe.
We'll give you
Swing
half.
that. Yeah. 50-50.
We'll pay for your gas.
We'll give you mileage.
Turn in your mileage.
There you go. We can write it off though.
That's funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you had a big weekend. I know you're rocking a new T-shirt there.
My new my triathlon shirt.
Are you back on the? You're back on the
Yeah.
trail.
Yeah, I am quietly. I don't even know if it was quiet. I've been training for. I'm doing the Chicago Triathlon at the end of the summer. So
Oof, I hope the weather's not too hot.
it will be. That's why the other day when it was almost 100 degrees out, I went and jogged a 5K right in the middle of the heat and freaking killed myself. But I'm like punishing my body. But the one thing I've been really focused on was my swimming, and I killed the swim the other day. I did my fastest time, which isn't that fast. I did a 500-meter swim in 9 minutes, which is not fast. But for me, that's fast.
I remember kind of when you were doing several that one race 2 years ago, you talked about trying to up your transition, down your transition time. So
yeah, I took a shit during one transition, I think.
It
was like 7 minutes.
That'll slow it down.
Yeah, I didn't actually. I think I did go to the bathroom though.
At the pavilion?
Yeah.
I remember that.
I did go to the bathroom,
you
right?
You absolutely did.
People don't do that during tries. That was my first try.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess what I'm saying is they have you focused on that to decrease your time.
I totally focused on my transition this time. And Jill helped me, and she doesn't even realize she helped me.
Oh, look at that, Jill.
Yeah, with the Ireland jersey you gave me a few years ago. The thing about that jersey is I was bigger when Jill got that for me, and it fit perfectly. And now I'm a little bit smaller, and the jersey's loose on me. And it's super light colored. As you can see, it's like white and yellow and light green.
Oh, very nice.
It's Ireland, right? Mm-hmm. And that jersey is like, if I'm in the baking heat, is a perfect jersey to wear. So I'm like, during my transition, I go Speedo. Like I call it, I was barebacking it. I was one of the only dudes in a Speedo. Like everybody has like tri-suits on.
Why don't we have that photo?
Because I was not wearing a phone then.
You had a banana hammock?
I had a banana hammock.
Wow.
And I jumped into this freaking lake. It was not exactly warm at 6:30 in the morning, region time, and did 500 meters. Then I got out. I put on my bike shorts, my bike stuff.
Oh, there's
including Jill's jersey. Did the bike, and then when I got done, all I had to do was take off my bike shoes and put on my running shoes, and then I knocked out the run, and I did my best time by far, which I'm very proud of. I mean, I started doing tries when I was like 50, and now I'm 55, and I'm getting my best times ever now. So 9:33 on the run for those of you running against me in the 5K. No, that's 9:33 on the swim. 10:30 on the run, dude. That's crazy fast for me.
That damn Thaddeus Borchers.
Thaddeus.
If only you could have.
Thor? Somebody named Thor did this?
58-year-old dude.
Thor? What? Are these fake names?
Where do these people come from?
Fort Wayne, man. It's all Fort Wayne. It's weird out there.
It is weird out there.
Thaddeus seems like the guy who lights candles after dark.
Or puts air fresheners.
Thaddeus kicked my ass. He beat me by fucking 15 minutes. He was in this he was eating breakfast at McDonald's by the time I finished.
He's waving at Tom as he's coming in. Hey, Tom.
Dude. Like, okay, how about this? So the winners... So, like, it was a double back on the bike, and it was a double back on the run, so you could see how far you're behind everybody. Put it this way, when I started running, they were doing the award ceremony for the winners.
Wow.
Yeah, so, like, they were done with the run.
Interesting.
By the time I started the run, okay? On the bike, which is the second segment, I was 4 miles into the bike when I passed the leaders. So they were 4 miles ahead of me on the bike. That's how fast they got out of the water and got onto their bike. They were 4 miles ahead of me. And I'm a fast cyclist, by the way. But like my swim kills me. When I get out of the water, I'm usually way behind everybody because I'm so slow. But
I always feel like it's like if I was ranking you, I'd say cycling 1, swim 2, run 3.
Now now swim is 2. Cycling.
Yeah.
Was
I always think of you like you're a scuba diver. You've always been a good swimmer.
Right. I'm not fast though.
Yeah.
I'm not going to drown. Like you could throw me in the middle of the ocean, I'm not going to drown. But if you want me to swim fast someplace, it's not going to happen. I'll get there.
Even though this one, you feel like this was a quick swim for you.
It was a quick swim for me.
So for
it's
you,
9:30, and that's
improving.
not fast. Like if I say that to a real swimmer, they laugh at me. They're like, "What? Like I can do it."
Well, it's all about doing. It's all about kind of personal.
I got to
best
make it, man.
things.
Like if I tried to swim fast like that, I'd probably get out of the water and be so winded I couldn't finish the. So you have to save your energy. The hardest part is the run at the end.
In a lot of these things, you're competing against yourself in a way that you're like, I gotta, you're not like trying to win the thing. You're like, hey, I'm gonna get better and better and better. So plans to do more. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I'm doing Chicago. I'm doing Culver. I'm doing a couple more before Chicago.
Are you just swimming more, and that's why it's better, or you're doing
swimming a lot more? I swim
working on different muscles outside of the water.
I swim in my pool almost every day.
Jesus, what size is your pool?
I swim in circles.
Do you swim in the Speedo?
I do.
You're like
I swim in it's literally when I do a pool workout, I swim a mile, and it's 18 yards in a circle. So do the math. I have to do 100 laps.
It's like a treadmill. Like you just
constantly. But I don't even think about it. I get a big jam box and I put it next to the pool and I crank it and I just chill and just swim.
That's great.
I'm not even, honestly, I feel like it's cheating as a workout because it's so chill. Like the sun's beating down on you. You're just swimming, listening to music. And then I get done. I'm like, damn, I did a mile, in my own freaking backyard.
You're making us feel like slugs. At least I should speak for myself. You're making me feel like a slug.
Well, I mean, it is nice having a pool during the summer, no doubt. So, hey, man, I was just hanging out with a lot of young men Okay, but this Kevin and I haven't been on the air. This is an interesting topic. Okay,
There's a lot of great stuff that Tom has said
That might be the title.
That in context,
I've been hanging around
has
with a lot of
been-
young men.
or like during my
Younger.
transition,
Right.
there's been a lot of great stuff.
So like, John's over there writing down. By the way, the disaster bait was awesome title.
Kudos to Javez.
Yeah, good job, David.
Thanks.
But so I was at the bachelor party, and some young men at the bachelor party, I'm not going to identify, they were super pissed. And I was like,
Okay.
what's the matter? And they're like,
Were these members of the bachelor party or guests to the bachelor party?
I don't want to like get into details.
Gotcha. All right.
Because I don't want anybody to get in trouble. I
Yes.
think most of these dudes are probably married or coupled up. Okay.
All right.
So like, I'm just going to leave it vague about who
Fair
was
enough.
talking about this, but it wasn't me. I just want to.
Tom wants to make sure I'm innocent, but for all you guys that may be out there,
I want to start off and say I don't like porn. I'm not part of any porn sites.
okay.
Never have been.
Wait,
Wait,
you're not
as
a
a,
part
as
of
a
it?
what does that mean? Like as a participant on
No,
the porn,
no,
or in
I don't
a viewer of
participate.
the
Like
porn?
I don't have porn on my phone. I don't have porn access. I don't even know how to do it.
You're like a
Okay.
magazine guy, is what you're saying?
It's like old school '80s magazine guy. I get it sent to my head. No, I'm just kidding. I don't.
Under
Like
your bed.
I'm like a good
Jugs.
boy like that. Okay. So I do like before we get into this porn discussion, I want to make it clear this has nothing to fucking do with me because I want to go home and see a wonderful, lovely, happy wife. Okay.
All right.
This
Are
is
we all
just
giving disclaimers? Can I give one too? Like
Kevin is a porn addict. I do want to point that out before we start this.
He's struggling
I got
with
the-
addiction.
Yeah.
It is interfering with his
I couldn't
daily
wait to talk
activities.
about this story.
He can barely make it through a Lockpot episode without.
I think,
What do you think I'm doing on my iPad here, John? I mean, what?
So I'm at the
Can't see
bathroom.
this.
Big
So we're all, none of
Jigglies.com.
us, this has nothing to do with anybody in the studio. Okay, except for Kevin. So,
So bad.
I'm at the bachelor party and this
guys are
dude is pissed. And I'm like, what's the matter? And he's like, fucking Indiana. He's like cursing Indiana. I'm like,
Yes.
what? And he's like, I can't get on fucking Pornhub. And I'm like, what? And then he's like, I got fucking blocked off of Pornhub because of some law that they passed in Indiana. And then it hit. I'm like, holy shit. Todd Rikita,
Our favorite Attorney
Lockpod
General.
famous target, passed a law through the General Assembly that had age verification requirements for porn sites in Indiana, right? And if these porn sites like Pornhub don't have adequate tools according to this Indiana law to screen out kids, then they are blocked from access to all Hoosiers. So my buddy that wanted to look at a little porn at the bachelor party was blocked, even though he was in
weird.
Tennessee,
Whoa.
and he was salty about it. He's like, I'm in fucking Tennessee, and I'm getting
I was
blocked.
going to sit here on the couch all day and watch porn.
It sounds like an
Now I
awful
can't.
bachelor party.
We were.
If
I
you're
told you,
actively
Eric
looking
got
for
us a place
porn.
way into fucking sticks, dude. It was like watch porn or like.
Okay.
Well, so
This is a good topic for Lockpod. I wrote it down immediately.
yeah, so this is actually pretty interesting to go dig a little bit deeper.
So
on
is it
this.
true, Kevin?
It is
porn
true.
is blocked in Indiana.
Well, unless you comply with Senate Bill 17, which is something that the Attorney General promoted and helped pass and lobbied for this last legislative session. What it is actually, this is kind of interesting. Pornhub put something on their website that says you will lose access to Pornhub in 13 days. It was a pop-up with an Indiana flag that
Is there a
John's showing
countdown?
on.
oh,
yeah,
the
like-
Indiana flag on Pornhub.
Did you know that
Never
your
good.
government wants you to give your driver's license before you can access Pornhub? As crazy as that sounds, it's true. So what this bill requires is that adult-oriented websites hosting explicit material such as pornography or other, quote, material harmful to minors, end quote, verify a user's identity before allowing access. That could be by scanning a driver's license or registering with a third-party verification service. So I think the concern of Pornhub and others is your privacy issues. All of a sudden, you're giving your driver's license information to Pornhub. What if Pornhub gets hacked? What if the information somehow goes out? Oh, so-and-so
That
was
never
on
happens.
So-and-so
What
was
was
on
that?
Pornhub. Something Madison.
Yeah,
Ashley Madison.
That's.
So I think that's...
By the way, I know a local famous attorney
yes.
that was on the Ashley Madison.
I think we
list
both
when it
do.
came
And it was
out.
not me. And it was not
No,
John
it was
Cantrell.
not. It was not.
And it was not anybody that's been on the
associated with
show.
Lockpod. Yeah, it was not Kuklaka's Law. It was not Cantrell. But yeah, there was a
Does
name.
he wear a fedora?
No.
Is it that okay?
No.
All right. That's,
So the
I
but
was
you know
going to
this
give
is
a clue that would have
Oh,
given
no,
it
no,
away. I'm not
no.
going to.
We're not going to do that. So
Kevin's like, we're not getting sued again.
The actually kind of the interesting take on this is that Pornhub apparently there's a similar law in Louisiana, and Pornhub was one of the few sites that complied with it. And what they said about I thought this was really interesting. Once they complied with it in Louisiana, they said, since then, our traffic in Louisiana has dropped approximately 80%. These people did not stop looking for porn. They just migrated to darker corners of the internet or in public that don't ask users to verify age, that don't follow the law, that don't take user safety seriously, and that often don't even moderate content.
The age of the people getting their pictures taken even as well. Like, I imagine... And I've never been on Pornhub. I want to make that clear. I keep on qualifiers. I've never been on Pornhub, but I imagine there's no way possible if you were on Pornhub that you would ever look at a minor, right? I assume they moderate content tools. For sure, dude. They're not going to put out pictures of minors, or else they'll lose their whole site, right? But like, if you can't go on Pornhub because of a stupid state law, maybe you do look for porn in darker corners of the internet, and it does involve kids and things like that, and that's not a good
or you
policy. Don't
know, or it's stealing your information anyway. And I think they said that in practice, the laws have just made the internet more dangerous for adults and children. I think that's I would think as a legislator, it's pretty tough to say, like, I'm going to vote no on verifying your age on a sexually explicit website.
Okay, so basically these guys knew they were going to get sued by the ACLU when they voted this law in, right?
I would think so.
If I'm a legislator and I don't want to look like an asshole by voting against something that protects, quote, I'm doing air quotes, protects children from pornography, I would vote for it, knowing full well that Indiana is going to get sued by the ACLU and lose, right?
Yeah, and so
because you don't want to be the guy voting against it, and they're like, "You voted against protecting kids." You're like, "No, because we were going to get sued," and you look like an asshole.
And I'm for privacy concerns.
Right? So you're just like, "I'm just going to vote for it." Indiana's going to get sued. We're going to lose hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in litigation fees, and then the law's going to be overturned, right?
Yeah, I mean, so what has happened is both I think Pornhub, along with a lobby organization for either pornography or strip clubs or something like that, has, along with the ACLU, has filed a lawsuit to try to stop this law. And basically they're saying, like, look, this is constitutionally protected.
Yeah, we know that.
Content, right? I mean, and not that it's like the best thing in the world. I mean, it's not like I'm sitting here saying, oh, let's go porn.
Right.
But it is constitutionally protected. I mean, look at it.
Is that the title?
Porn freak.
Let's go porn.
Let's go porn. There you go.
I'm sure Mayor Joe
featuring
Joe Hogsett. Yeah, we should think about the title, right?
But I mean, I think that from a legal perspective, and
that is not good. That is not the fucking title. Let's just make that clear.
You can't say "Let's go porn" and then
featuring Joe Hogsett.
No, we cannot do that.
That is not
Mayor Joe, don't worry, we will not do that.
It's going to be something positive, Mayor Joe. I promise.
But I mean, just putting my lawyer hat on, it is an interesting argument because you're talking about constitutionally protected content that they're trying to restrict access to. So we'll see what happens.
So how come when I go on a beer site, I just have to make up an imaginary birthday?
And that's the Attorney General's argument that, if it was just something like that, Jill.
That's why you have to give your license, right?
That's what they're saying.
Right.
But
you don't have to give your license to go on a beer site.
Right.
You have to, right, exactly. See, so this
at least the Republicans in Indiana are consistent. You have to give your license when you go vote, too. So that's consistent. I always look for inconsistencies, and they're very consistent about flashing your ID.
Didn't Texas already ban porn? Was it Texas?
Louisiana did, for
just
sure.
them? Oh, no, I thought there was one more.
It could be Texas as well. See, and this just goes to what we talked about before, that, like, the Republicans are very good at, like, figuring out these can be hot issues. So let's just, every legislature in the country, let's share these ideas, and then, like, here we go.
You're right, Kev. They're very, like, on the same team in that regard. Mm-hmm. Like all the red states are pushing the same issues, and then it becomes a national issue, and
bingo,
they're, like, controlling the narrative.
Yep. Yeah. And this is just another list that you can go out in public and say, look, I fought for our children. We don't want them exposed to porn. I mean, most parents would be like, yeah, that's great. I don't want them exposed to porn
dirty
either.
Democrats.
They voted for porn.
They love kids and porn. And
let's go porn.
Right. It's so ridiculous.
Exclamation point.
Right.
All right.
So, AG Rakita?
General Rakita?
I actually might be with them on this one. But, I mean, even though it's going to fail. I see where they're. First off, it's a waste of time and money. We agree on that.
Yes,
it's a total signaling.
There was no like outcry for like, oh my God,
my kids are getting on Pornhub. Right,
millions of Hoosiers getting on.
The major problem in Indiana is all these kids getting on Pornhub. Right. That's not right. So basically, this is
it's like a what do you call that? John?
Signaling, virtue signaling, or
forget what that's called, but there's some little
virtue signaling.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
But like,
virtue signaling. Thank
so
you.
basically, these guys are like, they know full well this state bill is going to be overturned, right? And they're like, in the
big chance it might
meantime,
be.
everybody looks at us like we're protecting kids from porn.
Mm-hmm.
And Indiana gets sued. Yeah, Indiana loses a couple $1 million in litigation.
by strip clubs and porn producers, right?
So like we get sued and we lose a bunch of money, but I look like a freaking hero. This is AG, Rikita.
Yeah, defending families, defending children.
I'm defending but like
morals.
you got us into a lawsuit we didn't need to get into. I mean, let's talk about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're getting sued by Pornhub and all these other, First Amendment issues. Now we didn't need to get sued for that, but
Yeah, I think that's the exact narrative. Like, okay, so what? I got sued by strip clubs and porn producers.
yeah, but
I'm trying to
nobody
defend
likes getting
families.
sued. Every time
No.
Hammond gets sued, I get chewed out by people. It's like you always get us sued, Mayor. It's like Indiana's getting sued. They knew full well we were going to get sued when we passed this bill, and they passed it anyway.
Yeah, but I think even you've said, like, you know what? If I get sued, I'm fine with being on that side of it. We can.
I do
I'm
say
ready.
that
Yeah, so
sometimes.
I mean, I think
Right.
it's interesting. I think you've hit it on the nail on the head. Which
But
is,
if usually I would like to think it's an important issue if I'm like willing to get sued on it. I guess this isn't really the biggest problem in Indiana. Kids
No,
under
I'm with
18
you.
getting on Pornhub.
No, it wasn't a big outcry.
For God's
but
sakes. When I was under 18, I used to look at Playboy magazines left and right. Let's be honest. When I was
I was glad
12, I would look at Playboy magazines. I wasn't, and look at me. I turned into a normal person.
Yes, you did. Yeah,
Right?
arguably.
I mean, whatever,
Well, I mean, if they're not even going to attempt to address like human trafficking issues along with this,
Right. Good point.
Well, if you don't think kids are finding a way around Pornhub to find some other porn somewhere,
Kids
I mean,
are better
come
at the
on.
internet than all of us put
without
together.
a doubt,
Right.
Without a doubt. So, I mean, and that's where you mentioned like this. There's not this big public outcry because it's happening anyway, but it does look good for like
Politically.
PR purposes, for sure,
Politically,
for
right.
sure.
All right, let's go ahead and do some ads. We're going to come back, talk a little bit Putin and Trump. Real quick one, just a video that disgusted me. And then there's an article I wanted to cover on the last show that was in the Times about man that was nabbed coming back from a dispensary. And that's a good story because a lot of us think that this doesn't happen. People never get arrested for this. And I have a great story about a guy that went to King of Buds.
Is it like famous Hammond man gets arrested?
No, not famous Hammond
dispensary?
man.
Okay.
No, this is just a regular dude that went to dispensaries in Michigan.
So stay tuned for an
Yeah.
update on that. All right, let's
So-
do some ads.
Let's do some ads. All right, let's start with Powering Indiana Lake County is your source for the region's most trusted electricians. Thinking of finishing your basement, installing outdoor security cameras, or does your business have plans to break ground on a new project? Don't leave important projects in the wrong hands. With IBEW Local 697 electricians, you're choosing the highest level of safety and reliability. Visit poweringindiana.org today to ensure your project's in the hands of skilled professionals who deliver on time and on budget. Find your electrical contractor at poweringindiana.org.
The Bug Guy Pest Control, serving all of Northwest Indiana with no annoying contracts to sign. Monthly and one-time services available, insects, rodents, and more. We offer pet-friendly, safe, effective treatments for commercial, residential, municipal, office, warehouse, and more. Give the Bug Guy a call today at 219-810-7481 or find them on Facebook to get your free estimate today.
Prestmer Insurance Agency. For decades, the Ron J. Prestmer Insurance Agency has been your trusted neighbor right on Indianapolis Boulevard, serving all your insurance needs. They specialize in a wide range of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, and life insurance. Prestmer Agency serves thousands of people and businesses throughout Chicagoland and the Midwest. Call Ron or Ronnie today at 219-844-0103. They're here to protect what matters most to you.
The Branding Room Floor. Don't let your business get lost in the shuffle of generic branding and aimless marketing. The Branding Room Floor is Northwest Indiana's best full-service marketing agency, providing data-driven results to help your business grow. From website development and digital advertising to graphic design and branding, the Branding Room Floor will set your business or organization on a clear path to strategic success. Don't wait another day to get started. Visit thebrandingroomfloor.com today.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon sets the gold standard in Mexican cuisine across the Midwest. Look for our iconic red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón.
Kuklakis Law. Are you facing legal challenges and don't know where to turn? Look no further than Kuklakis Law, your trusted source for legal advice in Indiana and Illinois. Do you need help buying or selling real estate? Call Kuklakis Law. Forming a new business? Call Kuklakis Law. Injured in a car crash or at work? Call Kuklakis Law. No matter what your legal issue, call 219-671-6347 to schedule your free consultation. Who are you going to call? Kuklakis Law. Hablamos Español. Thank you to our sponsors, including our studio sponsor, Power in Indiana, Lake County. Can I just give you a quick update? Because we usually, in the past, we've been critical of our local newspaper, but I just found out from our local newspaper, did a little quick search, that the federal district court had already issued an injunction on the porn law before July 1. So it didn't take effect. Go have at it. You can go on.
You know what's interesting? What date was that? Because I was
right before July 1st.
I was in late June. I was on the vacation. I mean, on the bachelor party.
You can let that pissed young man know he can still access Pornhub.
July 1st.
In Indiana.
I'm going to check right now just to make sure.
Yeah, right. Through the Lockpot account.
Yeah.
Don't want to do it through my account. Amy, I was researching for Lockpot.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Hey, when I was in the Navy, guys, I spent 4 years underwater. I was in for 6 years, 2 years in school, 4 years on an active, fast attack, nuclear-powered submarine armed with nuclear weapons. Our main purpose in life was to chase Russian submarines. That's what we did. We followed Russian subs. We followed Russian boats. We prowled off the coast of Russia. We surrounded Russia with submarines, and we were ready at all times to launch nuclear missiles at Russia if it became necessary. That's what we did then in the 80s. That's what they're doing currently. The submariners in the United States Navy. Okay, Russia is America's biggest military enemy. It was like that in the 80s. It was like that in the 60s. It's still like that today, in my opinion. And yet, we have a Republican Party that's currying favor with a dictator, Vladimir Putin. And I was flipping through TikTok the other day, and I saw the Russian dictator talking about the American presidency. At least they're doing it directly this time. They're not doing it through social media. And I just find it despicable. I'll be honest with you. John, could you play this video? This is Vladimir Putin talking about Donald Trump in glowing terms.
The fact that Mr. Trump, as a presidential candidate, says that he's ready and wants to stop the war in Ukraine, we take that very seriously. Well, I haven't seen his ideas on how exactly he's going to do that, and that is the key question. But I have no doubt that he says that sincerely, and we support that.
God, dude, that makes me want to barf.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's...
Why?
To me, I think he's like sending a message like, yeah, I know when Trump gets in that he's going to let us roll Ukraine, and that'll stop the war.
I personally feel that Ukraine is super important to defend Ukraine against... I mean, it's a democracy. They're innocent victims of Russian aggression. And the world is trying to... And by the way, my wife is from a country that's on the border of Ukraine. I mean, Poland has been invaded before. Poland could be invaded again. And if we all sit back and watch Ukraine fall, which I think if Trump wins, that's exactly what's going to happen. Trump's going to freeze all weapons going to Ukraine, and Ukraine's going to get rolled by Russia. And Vladimir Putin and Trump are just going to be laughing together, and it makes me disgusted. I think that Donald Trump is a traitor for working with this guy. A flat fucking traitor. Not just a felon, a fucking traitor. And traitors during war, they get killed, man. They get killed by their country.
Whoa.
I'm telling you, man. The commander-in-chief is compromised by Vladimir Putin.
My concern has always been that the Baltic states of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, I guess throw Finland in there, and potentially those are small little countries, and I just get concerned that even though they're members of NATO now, that if Trump's in, he will not invoke Article 5 and won't order Americans to defend those countries because he'll let Putin roll them too. And that I'm just very concerned about expansion of the war if we don't help Ukraine try to beat the Russians back and reach an agreement, which I think Ukraine needs to get to the table with Russia and reach a peace agreement and get this done with. Whether it means seceding some territory to Russia, I don't. At this point, I'd like to just stop all the killing.
Why?
And get,
but like,
get
if
it over with.
If you were Zelensky, why would you? Yeah, I agree to give you part of my country. Like,
well,
American presidents, like, yeah, you could have Texas, California, you could have Oregon and Washington. Like, what the fuck is that?
I get that, but I just feel like.
But here we are, Americans, sitting there drinking our goddamn coffee.
No, you're right.
And then
It's
we're like,
easy for me to
Zelensky,
say.
you should fucking give away part of your country and appease this dictator.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I hear you, Tom, and I could see the criticism of what I just said. I just would like to see the war over.
I know what you mean, Kevin.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at you.
No, I'm not. I don't take it like you're mad at me.
No, this is. I think that Ukraine is important. I think that we've invested billions of dollars, if not trillions of dollars, into Ukraine already, and I fear that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin have already made a deal. And Vladimir knows Donald Trump's going to come in. He's going to hang Zelensky out to dry, and Ukrainians are going to be slaughtered. Like, Russia launched a cruise missile at a children's hospital yesterday in Kiev.
Mom.
At a children's hospital. What the? These things aren't just like random. It's not World War II where you launch a weapon and you don't know where it's going to go. They literally target where it wants to hit, and it hits that target. They targeted a children's hospital.
I wonder.
And then Vladimir Putin's like, yeah, man, Trump's great. He's going to end the war. Fucking unbelievable, dude.
I'm sorry, I just didn't get that from this 30-second clip. He was just saying, like, yeah, I hear Trump's got ideas on how to end the war. Great.
I took it.
I honestly, I didn't
weapons
get
to Ukraine. That's Trump's idea on how to end the war. We're going to stop, and he's going to talk to it's red meat for the base. We're going to stop sending money overseas. We're going to stop sending all this money to Ukraine. What that means is a bunch of people in Ukraine are going to die because Vladimir Putin is going to bomb them into oblivion, and we're not going to do anything. Americans aren't going to do anything to save them, and they're going to die.
Yeah,
they're going to roll.
John, the way I took it was kind of like he was almost like messaging something. I don't mean like secret message or code or anything, but almost like by what his response was. It was like, yeah, Trump's got some good ideas. I'm looking forward to hearing about it. Meaning like, we all know what that means. He's going to let me do whatever I want to do, and that's kind of how I took it.
But the thing is, like historically, Trump doesn't seem interested at all in wars. So it's weird to me when people, like, the argument is, oh, he's going to let this war go on. He's going to let Putin do what he wants to do.
Putin is interested in wars, and if Trump is Putin's ally, then Putin could do whatever the hell he wants.
Because Trump's not interested in
England
wars.
is Latvia, Estonia, like Kevin said. Who knows? Finland, Norway, Poland. Like, who's next? And by the way, Kevin was mentioning NATO earlier. Trump gets in there and says, we're the only ones that pay our dues to NATO. I don't support NATO anymore because Germany and France, they're not sending 2% of their GDP to NATO anymore. So America's pulling out of NATO. That is not even a stretch, dude. That is not even a stretch.
John, I agree with what you're saying about Trump and war. And that's kind of my fear that
war under Trump.
That he's an isolationist. Because and I don't mean that in like a critical way. I mean that actually factually he's kind of an isolationist. Like, let's focus on America. America first. We're going to make America. And that means like, screw what's happening in Europe. Screw what's happening in Ukraine and Russia. I'm just going to sit back. We're out of this. You guys figure it out. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, if Putin feels that there's a president or somebody in charge that actually would invoke NATO, he may think twice about going against those other countries because he doesn't want to have to fight a war. But if Trump's like anti-war, which I don't disagree with you, John, I think he is. He doesn't like war. Then, I don't think Biden does either. But my point is, Trump would be much more lax to get involved.
It's just weird how this is still going on. Like, there was a deal on the table, from what I understand. Yeah. And Boris Johnson, of all people, goes over there, and all of a sudden the deal's off. Like, what the fuck is going on? Why is this happening? And I agree with you guys. There's stuff we don't know going on, and I don't know, man.
I don't think Joe Biden's going to be the president either, by the way. I want to make that clear. I think if Joe Biden insists on running, which it appears that he's insisting on running, I think Trump is going to roll him in historical proportions. That's how I feel as a Democrat, okay? I feel like Joe Biden is just taking our whole party into a whitewash, all right? And I think that Trump is going to be the next president. I definitely do. Unfortunately, that's the way I feel, and because of Biden's refusal to step down. And a guy like Putin is just grinning ear to ear. He's like, dude, all this, you know.
They've been cheering on that. They've been watching that debate over and over again,
God.
laughing and drinking vodka.
Russia was so happy when they saw that debate because there's no way Joe Biden could recover from that. There's no way in hell Joe Biden. I don't care what anybody says. There's no way Joe Biden recovers from that. We're gonna see those clips all through the debate, and he looks like a lost, scared old man. That's how he looks. He doesn't look like the commander in chief. That he cannot recover.
There's a lot
of
red meat for ads.
He cannot recover from that. I don't care what anybody says. David Axelrod just said the same thing I'm saying right now. Joe Biden is dead man walking. If he refuses to step down, you better, like people like Frank Mervan, they better disassociate themselves from President Biden.
Interesting you said that, because I heard something that Tammy Baldwin didn't even go to Biden's appearance in Illinois, and I think that's just a tip of the iceberg.
I'm interested to see which elected officials skip the DNC in Chicago. Yeah. I'm interested because I don't think associating yourself as an elected official to this president is the wisest thing you could do. I just don't.
Well, interesting clip and good discussion, guys. I thought that was interesting.
I really hope I'm right that that Trump and Putin are not as buddy-buddy as you guys are saying. I really do.
I hope you're right, too.
I
hope you're right.
I think he's got the PP videos on Donald.
The dossier.
Trump knows it's what Trump is.
Hillary's dossier.
What could he possibly
she
have
never got in
that
trouble
like
for.
people
Nope.
haven't seen?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
There's so many damning things that nobody cares.
Golden showers? Come on. Whatever. All right. Let's
What are
move on.
those? Let me go to Pornhub and see what that means.
Tom's not on it. He wouldn't
I'm
know.
not on it. Yeah. Yeah.
He sure knows the terminology.
Yeah,
though.
Yeah, right.
You're very like the search,
I've
the good
heard
search
that
terms.
in Donald Trump.
Golden Showers featuring Joe Hogsett. No, not a good title.
No,
We're still
not
working
a
on the
good
title.
Not a good
okay,
title.
We're still working on the
Not
title.
a good title. Yeah.
We need to get to Joe's interview.
Yeah. Hey,
do.
we got one story we're going to cover before we get to Joe's interview.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to skip this again?
No, I don't know.
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
good. I just wanted
No,
to
I
make
was
sure we get to
wondering.
it.
It's a 20-minute interview, just so you guys know.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay, so we got 5 minutes.
All right.
All right, mad nab for marijuana possession. All right, so like a lot of people, a lot of Hoosiers drive over to New Buffalo now, and they grab, their joints, their gummies, their vapes, whatever they're grabbing, and then they drive back home, and everybody feels like not only that, they burn one on the way home, and they're just like super happy, and then they get pulled over by an Indiana State Trooper, and you think they're not looking for weed. You're wrong.
Well, yeah, if you're burning one on the way home, that's
Dumb.
dangerous anyway because you're violating the law.
You're
and
burning one, and you got a bunch of weed in the car.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be smoking and driving. That's could be under the influence.
So in this case, we had a 36-year-old Gary man who decided to go to King of Buds, which is a brand new dispensary that opened up. Maybe they'll sponsor
I like the
show.
name.
King of Buds. It's
King
very-
O Buds.
It is literally impossible to miss if you get off at mile marker 1.
Okay.
Okay, so it's like an Apple store. It's brand new. Like literally like an
Shiny
Apple
and new.
store. It's brand new and it's huge. And so this guy goes to King of Buds, 36-year-old Gary man, buys 5.4 ounces, which is a shitload of weed.
Significant.
That's a shitload of weed.
What's like a normal?
If you're
amount.
a user,
I guess.
if like for yourself, like listen,
Personal, yeah. Personal use for the
I think
month.
if you were gonna go for a month, I would get I don't know, half an ounce, something
Okay.
like that.
All right.
Right, and that'll last most people well over a month.
All right. Fair
Right,
enough.
like so 5.4 ounces. Like what the fuck?
Right.
Like you
That's a
got
lot.
major issues, my friend. Either that or you got bad intentions.
Okay.
Well, this guy also had a scale,
Okay. Not a good sign.
so it's not a good look at all.
No.
And he's burning one in the car when he gets pulled over.
Not a good look.
See, bad choices all around, right?
Couple.
So 5.4 ounces, a scale, King of Buds bag, all that. He gets arrested. He gets felony charges against him, right?
Yeah.
And now he's facing years in prison
Sure.
for just, what was it they actually got him on?
I think they charged him for with dealing.
Yeah, I think they got him for dealing.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe the difference. That's the way I kind of looked at it. Like the difference there is that if you got a scale and you got 5 ounces, you're not a licensed dispensary, bud. You can't be out there
Yeah.
dealing.
Okay.
Okay, so that's my
what-
issue with it.
I agree with you, Kev.
Yeah.
Anytime, why do you have a fucking scale? That's
Yeah.
what dealing
And
is.
why do you have 5
He's going to
ounces?
sell crack. Obviously, it wasn't for the marijuana.
Yeah, dude, I'm a heavy
Crack was in the
heavy
trunk.
pothead.
Was there a spoon in there too?
Yeah, right. No, that's for my crack. I have
No,
no crack
that's not
on me.
from this weed.
Dude, like I'm just a pothead. I sell crack on the side, dude. I'm not a crackhead though.
Yeah. So I think that's the issue is amount. If it was an amount for personal consumption,
So what?
I'd feel a lot worse for
so
the guy.
so you come back with a half ounce, or you got a couple
Yeah.
joints, and you got some gummies.
You're not
and
getting
no
charged
scale.
with dealing.
Okay.
You're getting charged with possession, which is kind of in this day and
This
age.
guy,
it's kind of
in
a
my
BS
opinion,
charge.
I'm pro weed. Everybody knows that. This guy was definitely dealing 5.4 ounces. Like,
Yeah.
come on, dude. If
the
potheads
scale.
don't buy 5.4
So are you
ounces.
saying like if it's that much and it's loose, you think there's intent, or like
How about
if he
this,
bought
Jill?
that much and like pre-rolled?
How about
however
this?
You, do
You
it?
got an ounce. You got a deal. They sell ounces for like $75. So
Jesus Christ.
it's fucking dude. So like you just say you buy an ounce and you got no scale and you're not burning one, and you get pulled over.
Possession. I
Probably
think the ounce
possession.
should be
I agree.
that should be like the limit, maybe.
I agree with you. By
There's
the way,
no limit, is what you're saying, Kevin?
No, I think it's some.
Yeah,
I don't know what
like
it is,
nothing.
but it's John
like
would
if you
know
get caught
this.
with
It's like
anything, you can get arrested.
dealing. You have to have over a certain amount. I don't know if it's an ounce and a half. I mean, somebody like John would have to give us the lowdown on that. But
Right.
Can
I
you
think
find
it's
that on Pornhub?
yeah, probably.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's the issue, and it's kind of like with that kind of amount, you got to be careful. You shouldn't be going over. I mean,
If you're gonna have 5.4 ounces in your car, refrain from burning one on the way home, right?
Don't give anybody
fucking put it in the trunk.
cause.
Put it in the
Eat a
goddamn
gummy.
golf bag. Yeah, fucking vape. You
He
asshole.
had gummies.
You had gummies. Like eat a gummy and vape. For
If
God's
you
sakes,
can
nobody
drive
smells
carefully. You
What
don't
the
want to
fuck?
drive
Like
impaired.
It is a new day. People aren't used to going to dispensaries and buying whatever they want, and then they come back into an illegal state like this one, and then they don't have their head screwed on straight. Now this guy's facing serious major issues. He's got job issues now. I imagine family issues now. He's got to hire a lawyer. He's facing serious time away.
Well, the dealing charge is a serious one. So I wonder what would happen like in Michigan if you had like 40 ounces of weed in your car and a scale. Would you get charged with dealing?
I think they have limits that you can carry. Like I know in
that's
like
right.
Colorado, it's like you could carry up to like 3 ounces. It's like in their constitution.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. It's in their constitution. Like you could have this much for your personal use, but it's not 5.4 ounces.
Wow.
Like there's no reason to have that much weed on you. This guy was definitely dealing, so he deserved. I guess he deserved to get what happened.
That's our weed update.
That's the weed update.
Let's do some ads and get back so we can get Mayor Joe on the air.
Okay.
So
let's do some ads.
if you're out there listening, please stay tuned for Mayor Joe's interview. It's really, really good. It was
is
awesome
really
to have
good.
Mayor Joe with us yesterday. We taped it. It's got a lot of different topics. Indy update as well as some national and state politics discussion.
Okay, let's start with Rogers Roofing. When you want the best for your home and family, trust the best in the business, Rogers Roofing. Rogers Roofing has transformed homes in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland for more than 55 years, providing quality roofing, siding, gutters, and windows, all backed by the best warranties in the industry. To learn more and to schedule your free consultation, visit rogersroofing.com or call 219-933-9145 today. That's rogersroofing.com or 933-9145. And remember, at Rogers Roofing, excellence is expected every time.
MCR Partners is your one-stop destination for top-notch expertise in economic development, finance, and planning. With a dedicated team geared up to tackle your projects head-on, they're your go-to comprehensive solution providers. Dive into the world of economic development with MCR Partners and let them guide you through the maze of opportunities. Check out their website at mcrpartnersllc.com. For tailored assistance, don't hesitate to reach out to Matt Reardon at 219-741-9511.
Misprint Printing. Elevate your brand with Misprint, the premier printing and sign solution in Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. With a 30-year legacy of excellence, their experienced team, led by Rick Baltonsberger, combines innovation and technology to deliver top-quality signs and printing. Always on time and within budget, and metal business cards. Conveniently located in Munster and Hammond, Misprint is your partner for creating impactful visual solutions. Visit them at misprintusa.com to bring your vision to life today. And good luck to Rick and all the Netherlands fans in their semifinal.
Cantrell and Cantrell, attorneys at law. Are you injured or in trouble with the law? If so, give us a call and schedule your consultation today with somebody who's in the court and at the jail every day. Call John Cantrell at 219-5544-LAW or visit their website at bettercallcantrell.com. John and his wife, Kristen, make a great team and are waiting to hear from you.
Calumet Brewing Michelob Ultra is a superior light beer brewed for those who understand that it's only worth it if you enjoy it. Containing only 95 calories and 2.6 carbs, Michelob Ultra is a light lager brewed with the perfect balance of hops and wholesome grains, producing a crisp, refreshing finish. With great Michelob Ultra partners like Lionel Messi and epic summer events, including the Festival of the Lakes, Team USA Soccer, and the 2024 Olympics, there's no better time to crack open a cold one. Head over to the Cal Brew or Michelob Ultra social media for info on this great family of beers. Enjoy the Michelob Ultra lifestyle with beers and cheers responsibly.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Very proud to have our special guest in the studio, frequent Log Pod guest in town, Mayor Joe Hogsett, the mayor of Indianapolis. Welcome back, sir.
Glad to be back.
Man, it's good to hear that voice.
I tell you what, I always look for reasons and excuses to come to God's country,
We appreciate it.
Northwest Indiana.
So what are you doing up in the region, Mayor?
Well, I spoke to the Gary Chamber of Commerce at lunch today,
That's
talked
awesome.
a little bit about the challenge that urban areas face, as I know you both appreciate. I certainly appreciate it, over and against a General Assembly that, frankly, is rural-oriented. And so I think the audience was very interested in hearing some of the things that we're trying to do in Indianapolis, obviously trying to highlight some of the things that Mayor Eddie's doing in Gary, and the good job that you continue to do for Hammond. But it really is a fundamentally different set of circumstances between rural interests and decidedly urban interests.
Without a doubt. And Mayor, obviously you're in your first year of your new term, just like Mayor Tom is. I think last time, I can't remember if we had you on since you won. I think we may have right after.
I think it was
right
right
after.
after.
Not
Right
part
after
of your
the
new
election.
term, not since you've been sworn in for
Right.
your new term. So just, real quick, tell us what's been going on in Indy in the last 6 months.
Well, thank you, Kevin, because that's a wonderful setup. I got to tell you, the second term, those 4 years, January 1 of 2020, you get sworn in.
Yeah.
What happens in March of 2020? Then George Floyd and Drajon Reed, which was an individual instance in Indianapolis. And then we had the unrest in our downtown area. I mean, it's just one thing after another.
The whole term was a blur, huh?
The whole term was challenging, to say the least. And I'm pleased to be able to come to Northwest Indiana today and report that, boy, the first 6 months of this year have just been unbelievably resilient.
That's
And
awesome.
the city is coming back like never before. I think it's only a matter of time before we even surpass where Indianapolis was before the pandemic.
Wow.
See, Joe, what's interesting is people obviously mayors are ultimately responsible for their city, and I understand that just like I know you do. And, things changed in the world. A lot of people I hear, they talk about Circle Mall downtown, and I love the Circle Mall downtown, and I love shopping in downtown Indy. And there's nothing Mayor Joe could have done to change the shopping trends of Americans. Like I was on Amazon last night ordering things the types of things I used to get from Circle Mall, and there's not much America could do to stop that type of innovation.
Well, you're absolutely right, but we've got even good news in that regard because we've signed a term sheet with Hendricks Property Group, who already has a distinct presence in Indianapolis at both Ironworks on the north side
great development.
That's great.
and Bottle Works.
Yes.
Wow.
I love
So
Those are both
those are
awesome.
Hendricks developments.
Wow.
And we've now agreed to go forward with Hendricks as our lead in repurposing what was the Circle Center Mall. It'll no longer be an enclosed mall. It'll be opened up.
Really?
Those 2 blocks of downtown, heart
Yeah.
of our
Oh, yeah.
downtown district will be residential,
No kidding.
retail,
See, that's smart.
live entertainment.
That's awesome.
I mean, just a whole and some office space as well. So it's going to be an open air mall, and I can't think of a better group that knows Indianapolis as well as Hendricks does. They're out of Milwaukee, but they really have done a great job with Ironworks and Bottle Works.
Bottle Works
And
is
now,
the one on 86th?
Bottle Works is
Or is that
on
Ironworks?
Mass Ave.
Mass Ave. Okay, Ironworks is on 86 then.
Yeah, Ironworks was their first intrusion, and then they followed up with Bottle Works, and now they're going to repurpose the entire
Good for you, Mayor.
two block area of Circle Center Mall.
That's great, Mayor. And one of the things that Mayor Tom and I were talking about beforehand that we want to talk to you about is just the crazy amount of cool things that are happening in Indy, and you've kind of reestablished yourself. I think, not that it needed to be reestablished, but amateur sports capital of the world. I mean, those Olympic swim trials,
right.
crazy.
They built a pool, like an Olympic-sized pool, right in the middle.
There were actually, Mayor, 3 pools in Lucas Oil Stadium.
That's so cool.
They had the competitive pool,
Uh-huh.
and then on the other side of the divider, they had another Olympic-sized pool where the swimmers in distance could warm up, and
cool down. Mm-hmm.
And then they had the third pool that was just for warming up and cooling down. And it was one of the most fascinating things. Now, here is testimony to the success of the Olympic trials that just took place in Indianapolis. The day after the Olympic trials ended, Los Angeles, which will be the home for the 2028 Olympic Games, announced that their swimming competition was going to be in SoFi Stadium.
Nice. That's really
The
cool.
day
That's
after
awesome.
our trials were over, Los Angeles said,
We could do it.
hey, that looks like a great idea.
Right.
Let's have our swimmers compete
That's
in
super
SoFi
cool.
in SoFi Stadium.
That's really cool.
Lindsay would kill me if I didn't ask you this, Mayor. Okay. Lindsay wanted to be on the show today, and I appreciate Jill for being in here and helping us out with that. Lindsay was like, Dad, you need to talk to Mayor Joe about WWE. And now I don't even know anything about this, Mayor. I don't want to embarrass myself, but apparently Indianapolis is the center of a lot of WWE, World Wrestling Association action. Is that true?
We traditionally have been, but it is unique, if not almost impossible, for one location to get commitments from WWE for their 3 largest events. And in this regard, Lindsay is way ahead of you, man.
Yeah, she is. I don't know anything
because
about
I
this.
tell you, if you get on their social media
Yeah.
and their presence and the number of followers that they have for WWE, people like you, me, and Kevin, we may enjoy it and not really understand it,
Exactly.
but learn to enjoy it. But there's a whole world out there.
The whole thing out there.
And so next year we'll have an event in February, and it will sell out Lucas Oil Stadium.
Okay.
So, 65,000,
You gotta be kidding me.
70,000.
Wow.
And then
February is Lindsay's birthday. I gotta.
Uh-oh, looks
I know
like
a
Dad's
birthday
on the-
present.
And
Yes.
then, to be determined, a couple of years later, we will be host of SummerSlam, which is their big summer event. That will be 2 nights of sold-out Lucas
That's
Oil
crazy.
Stadium.
That is crazy.
And then, somewhere even farther down the road, Indianapolis has been identified as the home of the WrestleMania, which is a mania. 2 nights, sold-out Lucas Oil Stadium with really kind of a circus that follows them around. And so it is literally, as several commentators have said, landing these 3 events, one venue, landing these 3 events, one city, landing these 3 events.
That's awesome.
Is tantamount to having a Super Bowl.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you got
There you go, Linz.
you got Lindsay's gonna be happy about that. She
Yeah.
had maybe some news
I
she
told
didn't
her.
know about that other stuff. So you got Taylor Swift coming. You got WWE. I'm
Taylor
curious.
Swift coming. Like, don't
Like
this-
Jill's already.
Just
Jill, you got.
glossing over it.
I know Kevin's like glossing over Taylor Swift.
I was just summarizing.
Why do you
That's
hate
a-
her, Kevin?
I love Taylor Swift. Taylor, I'm a closet, and Jill is a straight up Swiftie.
I don't think you're in the closet anymore.
I'm not. But which night are you going to, Jill?
Saturday.
There you go. Jill's already going, man.
Yeah, Mayor's
That's
going.
great, Jill.
Mayor,
I'm
you
glad,
going?
I'm glad you got tickets.
I'm
Well,
poor
I'll
now.
be there. I mean, as the mayor of Indianapolis, I think I'm obligated to
You
go
have-
Absolutely.
all 3 nights.
You got all 3 nights. You got to get a picture with Kelsey at least. You know,
Yeah,
that's right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it would be great if you could get Taylor, but
No, but you're absolutely right. I mean, the day that was announced, all 3 shows were sold out.
Unbelievable.
And now Jill will probably tell you the fair market value of a ticket,
Yeah.
if you want to obtain one,
I looked
is astronomical.
$4,000.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
By the way, she just got done playing Amsterdam, and my buddy got tickets for less than $500.
wow, that was
Good
That was
tickets.
that was the way to go.
No, it's because in England, over there,
Netherlands.
in the Netherlands, in this case, they take care of the public. They have fees that don't get checked. You can only mark them up like a certain amount of.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Well, and it's worth underscoring that the 3-night appearance that Taylor Swift will make on November 1, 2, and 3 of this year is her last show
In North-
in the United States.
Wow.
I'm not sure, not all of North America, but it's her last in country appearance in the tour.
And you've also got Caitlin Clark in the Fever. I mean, that's
Oh
a
my
big
God,
ticket.
dude, I
I
didn't
mean,
even think about that.
She's selling out arenas, not
have
just.
you met her yet, Mayor?
Oh yeah.
Is she great?
And she's got great family. She's got great people around her. I mean, and she's electrified our city. She's electrified the Fever.
well, think about the Fever tickets last year or the 2 years ago, right? You could probably get one here and there.
Yeah, I was told, Kevin, that this year the very first 2 home games complete sellouts,
Wow.
and a sellout in Gamebridge is 17,500.
That's awesome.
So in the first 2 nights that she played there at home, they sold 35,000 tickets. I was also told that last year for the Fever, it took them 11 games
See, wow. That's
to
a great
sell
set.
35,000 tickets.
There you
That's
go.
so cool.
Like that.
She's
That like encapsulates it right there.
That
That's
shows.
amazing.
And if you go to any other WNBA arena, They're selling out
Yep.
whenever the Fever in town and the Indiana Fever, who are still struggling to
a bit.
become competitive. They are going to be on television more times than any other team in the WNBA, including last year's champion, last year's runner-up. I mean, everybody wants to see the Indiana Fever.
Wow.
That's awesome. I want to see it too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really great.
Yeah, so
Seems
congrats, Mayor. Things are
Mayor.
happening down there.
Well,
seems like things are going
If
great.
you want to see it, Mayor, I know a few people who may
Yeah.
be able to get you in.
Really? I want to see Caitlin and Taylor.
Man.
I'm so progressive. I am very out in front.
It's because you're a good Democrat.
I am.
We're going to talk about. Let's talk about.
yeah.
Let's talk about some Democratic
Mayor,
politics.
Sure.
Where were you when were you watching the debate? Obviously.
Yeah, I was watching the debate at home, and like so many others, and including the president himself,
Right.
he acknowledged that he was not up to par and didn't reach the level of persuasion that he was hoping for.
Have you ever had a bad debate, Mayor?
Oh yeah, I've had.
But ever real bad, or just you weren't?
No, I've had debates in which I was kind of unsatisfied at the end, not feeling like I did enough or said enough in particular areas. He had a very difficult evening, but he's willing to acknowledge it, and he's in the process of making decisions about what happens now, and I think it'll be a very difficult decision for him to make, but whatever he decides, I think we need to be prepared to go forward and help in whatever way we could.
I'd be stunned if he stepped down. I'd be stunned.
I just, and I don't want to put you guys on the spot. I know you guys are in the middle of a lot of, your elected officials in the party, and as a voter and as somebody who's always been a Democrat, at least in my adult life, I just am concerned that, to me, we just have to beat Donald Trump, and I just don't want to be in a situation where, we were when we lost the first time to him. I thought Hillary was a great candidate. We all supported Hillary. We were Hillary fans. She didn't beat him.
All of us.
I just don't.
To a person, we were all big in Hillary Clinton.
Absolutely.
campaign.
I don't want to be in a situation where we lose to Donald Trump again because of something that isn't. And I like Joe Biden. Love him. I just don't want even the perception of the fact that he isn't going to be able to perform his duties is hurting the ticket, and that's what I'm concerned about. Is we have to be able to beat Donald Trump. And I would just be so remiss if we don't, and it's a result of, the perception or reality of Joe Biden's
I think we
ability.
have people in the Democratic Party that could beat Donald Trump. I just do.
I know we do.
I'm not of this. There's this opinion that Joe Biden's the only person that could beat him, and I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I think Mayor Joe Hogsett, if ran against Donald Trump with everybody supporting him, we could beat him. I think there's a lot of people in the Democratic Party that could beat Donald Trump.
Well, I want to make it clear I'm not running for president.
Were those the magic words? Can I give him?
No. But Kevin and Mayor, you both make, I think, important points. But I would simply respond by saying, at the end of the day, it's this election is about more than these two particular individuals. Mm-hmm. This election is about us.
Yep.
This election is about all your listeners. It's about you and me and our families and generations to come. And that's where I think at the end of the day, regardless of what the decision is, that I'm going to support the Democratic ticket, because I think that, frankly, I worry that their opponent doesn't appreciate the rule of law and democratic values. I mean, he's almost blatant about his disregard for.
Uses it as a platform plank.
He weaponizes it, and so that's ultimately where I am, and that is regardless of what Joe Biden decides or what he doesn't decide. I think this election is so important for all of those other reasons that, and at the end of the day, while he may have a little bit of a slower curveball or fastball than he once did, he's a good and decent man at his core. And
I'm glad he won 4 years ago.
I think that is in striking difference than his opponent.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Agree. I don't think the debate made it easier though.
No, and I wasn't reassured by his interview with George Stephanopoulos. I watched it. It didn't make me feel better. It didn't make me necessarily feel worse, but it didn't make me feel better.
And the next day, by the way, I give him that speech the next day. I forgot where it was. I think it was in Wisconsin. It was a good speech.
Yeah.
It won. I may not be as positive, but I know how to tell the truth. That speech, That was a
Awesome.
great speech. Where was that guy the night before?
It's teleprompter versus not.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
I mean,
true.
so I don't
That's
know.
true.
I mean,
That's true,
we
Kev.
love Joe. I hope he can.
I love Joe.
I hope we can figure it out.
We all love Joe.
because
I'm
we just
glad
need
Joe
to win.
won 4 years ago, but I just don't understand why being the ex-president is such a bad thing. Because I look at Obama, he looks pretty happy. You know, it's like,
Real happy.
I would like a
I
little.
think he looks real happy.
Yeah, bust me off a little of that. I'd be happy too. You know, like Obama's doing fine. Like, why doesn't anybody want to be like Obama?
I think it's a lot of people wanting to hold on to their jobs and power.
Why do
and
you
that's-
think they haven't pulled him in more for this?
What do you mean?
Obama? Like,
I don't
why
know.
haven't they involved him
I
more?
think there might be some. I don't know.
Maybe there's
conflict
not the
between
same
them?
opinion.
Do you think?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think my sense was always I was able to serve both of them as the United States
Right.
attorney because President Obama nominated
Right.
me, and obviously I served Attorney General Eric Holder in the Department of Justice. And just coincidentally, both the president and the vice president flew into Grissom Air Force Base for a big, at that point in time, Chrysler announcement for Kokomo, right?
remember that.
And it was kind of rare because typically they don't allow, Secret Service does not allow the president and the vice president to be in the same place at the same time. My sense was, in just the time I interacted with both of them, they have a profound amount of respect and affection for one another. And I think that at that time, Vice President Biden served President Obama very well.
Oh yeah.
And I just hope that we can get through this next election cycle and keep moving the country forward.
Yep. And thinking about Indiana, you know, we've got our state convention this Saturday.
Yeah.
You've got, you know, gubernatorial candidate. We're going to select the lieutenant governor. We're going to select an attorney general. These down ballot races tend to be affected by the presidential race. And, you know, we've got a tough road to hoe in Indiana if history's any, the last several statewide elections are any indication. Mayor, what are you thinking about the state ticket, and how do you figure this out?
Yeah, I think that Jennifer McCormick will be a good standard bearer in the governor's position. Her selection of her lieutenant governor,
Terry Gooden,
running
yeah.
mate Terry Gooden. I've known Terry forever.
He's great.
And he does present a contrast to Jennifer, so there's a certain balance there that I think might be appealing to voters. And as far as the AG's race are concerned, I think we have two very, very strong women running for AG, either of whom I think would be a real contrast
both
to
of them are
the
your
current
constituents, right?
the current incumbent
You're the mayor to
office holder,
both of them.
which, by the way, as a loyal Lockpod listener, I know his name gets mentioned
Yes, sir.
quite a bit.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it does.
But yeah, Destiny's been working hard. Beth's a great lady. We got a lot. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So that'll be this Saturday. Well,
Mayor Joe, we appreciate you. You've been by far our most frequent guest. We appreciate that very much. It's great that when you swung through, you give us a call. I'm glad we got to line this up. I appreciate Jill coming in and helping run the studio for us. Mayor, it's great to see you again. Kevin, thanks for being there for us and being the moral compass of the show and coming to you live from Munster, Indiana. This is season 12, episode, what is it? Episode 22. 22 in the books, 21 in the books. We will be back on Friday. Thank you again for our great guest, Mayor Joe. We'll be back on Friday with another episode. So thanks for listening to Lockpod, everybody. Take care. See you Friday. Lockpod is out.